Neighbors blocked my driveway without warning, so I summoned a tow truck at dawn and hauled every illegally parked vehicle 3 houses down the street onto my property. Their furious shouts rang through the quiet neighborhood as I clipped each car to the hook and pulled it away. I stayed silent while they cursed and pleaded for mercy. This morning my phone blew up with relentless calls and accusations filling my screen with desperate voicemails. Justice was served in full. Block my driveway? I'll go ahead and take your vehicles. So I live out in the country in Virginia, about 30 minutes from the nearest town. It's usually pretty quiet out here, which is exactly why I moved here 5 years ago. I've got a nice little property at the end of a dirt road cul-de-sac. It's nothing fancy, just a small 3-bedroom house with a decent yard and a workshop where I tinker with my trucks when I'm not working. The road leading to my place is narrow as hell, basically 1 car width with a few spots where you can pull over if someone's coming the other way. I work for Thompson's Towing and Recovery. Been there about 7 years now. We handle everything from basic roadside assistance to heavy recovery work. I started as a driver but worked my way up to shift manager. The pay is decent, and I like the work. There's something satisfying about helping people out of bad situations, even if they're not always happy to see you. This weekend I'm on the state police towing rotation, which means I'm basically on call for any wrecks, DUIs, or impounds the cops need handled. It can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but the money's good, and it keeps things interesting. When you're on rotation, you've got exactly 25 minutes to get to wherever they need you once you receive the call. Miss that window too many times, and you get bumped from the rotation list. My neighbors, the Wilsons, moved in about a year ago. They're a couple in their 40s with 2 teenage kids. They seemed nice enough at first, but they've started having these parties that get pretty wild. I don't mind a good time, but their parties have been getting bigger and louder lately. Yesterday was Friday, and I noticed cars starting to pull in next door around 6 p.m., more than usual. I figured I should give them a heads up since I was on call. I walked over while they were setting up and found Mrs. Wilson, Patricia, hanging up some string lights on their porch. I waved as I approached. "Hey Patricia, looks like you're having a big one tonight." She smiled and nodded. "Yeah, Megan's home from college for the weekend. Thought we'd let her have some friends over." I explained that I was on call and might need to leave at any time during the night. I asked if she could make sure none of their guests blocked my driveway. She seemed totally fine with it, promised to tell everyone where not to park. I even pointed out the no parking signs I'd put up after the last big party they had. We chatted for a few more minutes, and I headed back home feeling pretty good about the whole thing. Around 9 p.m., I noticed the party was getting louder, a lot louder, and there were way more cars than I expected. This wasn't just some friends. This was looking like half the county was showing up. Still, none of them were blocking my driveway yet, so I just minded my business. I spent the evening watching some Netflix and doing a bit of paperwork. The rotation had been quiet so far, which was unusual for a Friday night. Usually, we get at least a couple of drunk drivers or fender benders. I was just thinking about heading to bed when my phone rang around 12:30 a.m. It was my boss, Mike. "Hey, can you head out to that multi-car accident on Route 29? Sounds like we'll need both the rotator and the light-duty flatbed." "No problem," I told him. "I'll head out now." I got my boots on, grabbed my high-vis jacket, and collected my gear. When I stepped outside, the party next door was in full swing. The music was blasting so loud I could feel the bass from my porch. There were people everywhere, not just inside the house but all over their yard, and they definitely weren't just college kids. Most looked like high schoolers, and they were all clearly wasted. I walked to my truck, and that's when I saw it. My driveway was completely blocked, not by 1 or 2 cars, but by a whole line of them. There were pickup trucks, sedans, even a couple of those stupid lifted Jeeps that never see actual off-road use. I counted at least 15 vehicles parked across my driveway and along the narrow road. I tried backing out through my side yard, but with all the rain we'd had this week, the ground was basically clay mud. Even with my 4x4, I knew I'd get stuck. I checked the time. I had about 20 minutes to get to the accident scene before I'd miss my window. I took a deep breath and started walking toward the Wilson house. The music got louder with every step. By the time I reached their property, I had to practically shout just to hear myself think. The front door was wide open with people spilling in and out, red cups everywhere. Some kid was puking in the bushes. As I tried to make my way to the door, some drunk guy in a backwards cap stepped in front of me. "Yo, who the fuck are you?" He was swaying slightly, beer sloshing out of his cup. "I'm the neighbor. Need to talk to Patricia or Tom." I tried to step around him. "This is private property, old man. You weren't invited." He was maybe 19, trying to look tough in front of his friends who were now watching us. I didn't have time for this shit. "Look, I just need to find the homeowners. It's important." Another kid joined him. "Dude, it's probably just some boomer coming to complain about the noise." I pushed past them and made my way into the house. The place was packed wall to wall with drunk teenagers. The furniture had been pushed to the sides, and someone had set up a beer pong table in the living room. I scanned the crowd for Patricia or Tom, but didn't see either of them. I finally spotted Patricia in the kitchen, mixing drinks with a couple of girls who definitely weren't old enough to be drinking. She was clearly drunk herself, laughing too loud and spilling tequila on the counter. "Patricia!" I had to shout 3 times before she noticed me. Her face changed when she saw me, not embarrassed or apologetic, annoyed. "What are you doing here? There are about 15 cars blocking my driveway. I need them moved. I'm on call, remember? I need to get to work." She rolled her eyes and took another swig from her cup. Natural light, classy. Oh God, not this again. Fine. She turned toward the living room and yelled, not nearly loud enough over the music, "Whoever is blocking the driveway next door, move your trucks." Then she turned back to me like she'd solved the problem. No one even looked up. No one heard her over the music. Or if they did, they didn't care. "Patricia, no one heard that. I really need those cars moved now. I've got to get to work." She sighed dramatically. "It's a party. Relax. They'll move them eventually." "I don't have eventually. I have right now. I'm on call. I explained this to you earlier. Oh my god, you're being such a buzzkill. She turned to the girls she was with. This is my neighbor. He's always complaining about something. I stood there, trying to keep my cool. Look, I'm not trying to ruin your party. I just need to get to work. It's my job. She took another drink, and then slammed her cup down. Fine, I'll try again. She walked to the door, me following behind her. She yelled out the door, slightly louder this time. Hey! Anyone blocking next door needs to move. Now. Then she turned back to me. Happy? Will you make sure they actually move? I need to leave in the next 5 minutes. That's when she got nasty. Oh god, this guy again. She slammed the door in my face. I knocked again. When she opened it, she had a fresh beer in hand. What now? I tried one more time to explain calmly. Patricia, I'm on call for the state police. If I don't show up, I could lose my contract. Please, just help me get those cars moved. She laughed in my face. It's a party. Relax. Then she shut the door again. Through the door, I heard her yell, "Fuck that tow truck guy!" I stood there for a moment, processing what had just happened. I turned to leave, and that's when some guy, big dude with a tank top showing off his mediocre gym progress, threw a beer can that hit me in the back. "Yeah, you best leave. Go on, get," he shouted, high-fiving his buddies. I didn't say anything, just kept walking. My phone was buzzing in my pocket, probably Mike wondering where I was. As I walked back to my house, I looked at all the vehicles blocking me in. Most had college or high school parking stickers. A few had those family stickers showing how many kids and pets they had. When I got back to my property, I called Mike. "Hey, I've got a situation here. I'm blocked in by about 15 cars from a party next door. Can't get out." Mike cursed. "Seriously? Can you get them moved?" I tried. The homeowner's drunk and doesn't care. Slammed the door in my face. "All right, I'll send Thompson to the accident. What are you going to do about those cars?" I thought for a moment. How many trucks do we have available tonight? Let's see. We've got about 10 drivers on tonight. Why? I smiled to myself. Send them all over to my place. I've got some private property impounds for them. All of them? Are you serious? Dead serious. And call dispatch. Ask them to send an officer out here too, just in case things get heated. Mike laughed. You're evil. I love it. They'll be there in 20. I hung up and called the county police dispatch directly. I explained the situation, blocked in, drunk minors everywhere, potential for trouble when we started towing. They promised to send someone right away. While I waited, I took pictures of each vehicle blocking my driveway, making sure to get clear shots of their position relative to my property and the no parking signs. I also started writing down license plate numbers and vehicle descriptions. About 15 minutes later, a county sheriff's cruiser pulled up at the end of the road. Deputy Williams got out. I knew him pretty well from previous tows. "Evening," he said, looking around at all the cars. "Quite a party." "Not my party," I said. "And all these vehicles are blocking me in. I've got tow trucks on the way." He nodded. "Private property impound. You're within your rights. Want me to try talking to the homeowners first?" Already tried. Got a beer can thrown at me for my trouble. His expression hardened. "Show me where." We walked over to the Wilson house together. The party was still going strong, but a few people noticed the uniform and started nudging each other. The deputy knocked on the door, a proper police knock that got immediate attention. Tom Wilson answered this time, looking surprised to see a cop on his doorstep. "Officer, is there a problem?" "Sir, are you aware that your guests are blocking your neighbor's driveway? He's unable to leave his property." Tom looked confused, then saw me standing behind the deputy. "Oh, well, I'm sure we can sort that out. Let me just—" That's when the first tow truck arrived, then another, and another. Within minutes, the narrow road was lined with tow trucks, their yellow lights flashing and illuminating the night. The party got real quiet, real fast. The look on Tom's face when he saw all those tow trucks lining the road was absolutely priceless. His eyes went wide, and his mouth dropped open like he was trying to catch flies. A few of the partygoers had wandered outside to see what was happening, and they froze when they saw the flashing lights. "What the hell is this?" Tom asked, his voice cracking a little. Deputy Williams explained the situation calmly. "Sir, your guests have illegally blocked your neighbor's driveway. He's within his rights to have these vehicles towed at the owner's expense." Tom started stammering about how this was all a misunderstanding, but I wasn't in the mood for his bullshit. I nodded to my first driver, Dave, who was already hooking up a shiny new Dodge Ram with a Daddy's Money sticker on the back window. "You can't do this," Tom shouted, suddenly finding his voice. "Actually, I can," I said. "I tried to resolve this nicely. Your wife slammed the door in my face and cursed at me. Then one of your guests threw a beer at me. So yeah, I absolutely can do this." The deputy backed me up. "He's right, Mr. Wilson. These vehicles are illegally parked and blocking access to private property. The towing is completely legitimate." By this point, word had spread through the party. Drunk teenagers started pouring out of the house, panicking when they saw their precious rides getting hooked up. The chaos was immediate. Some kids were crying, others were yelling, and a few tried to run to their cars. Dave had already lifted the Ram and was pulling away. The owner, some college-aged kid in a polo shirt with the collar popped, came running out screaming about his dad being a lawyer. Dave just gave him our business card with the impound address as he drove off. Patricia stumbled out of the house, still clutching her natural light.